So we have a guest this evening. So we're going to talk today about his experiences on how he asserts using RA 11525. So he's an American living here in the Philippines. So without further ado, so may I give the floor to Sir Phil?
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Um, so I'm happy to be here today, tonight, whichever it is for you. And I'm happy to share how I do things. Uh, I did, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I'm not too sure where to start, but I'll try my best. Um, um, so I've been on and off for many years studying law, American law, basically, American trust law and stuff like that. So, international law. So it comes pretty easy to me just because I've, studied all this stuff for a long time. And, pretty much inside the Philippines, it's pretty much almost the same as America. There are some differences, um, but everybody in the Philippines has your rights, which is your freedom to travel wherever you want to travel, the freedom to tell people that you can put in your body what you want to put in your body. So body autonomy, that's the same thing as in America as it is in the Philippines and pretty much all the way around the world. So that's just hogwash. It's not true, and it's definitely a crime. Okay, so it's basically coercion, just like I'm pretty sure that they've explained to you before. So pretty much RA 11525 explains how they cannot force things on you which you do not want to do. Plus, it's part of international law as well. So, me and my wife, we came to the Philippines in October, somewhere around October, and we didn't have, I guess you call it Betsin or something like that. We didn't have that, so we had to take the test, standard test or whatever before we came, which we did, and we did the quarantine days in Cebu, and we took the test in Cebu, another test in Cebu, um, and I have a problem with something going up my nose. So, I'm very sensitive and I move a lot and I don't want to do it. And I really don't like the test anyway. Okay. It's none of anybody's business if as long as I'm not coughing in people's faces or something like that and I'm not sick currently. So I don't feel like we should have tests like that. So we went from Cebu to Iloilo. Um, for we found out that okay, you only have to stay for 3 days in the hotel, and that's where we started, where I started to because it's basically like false imprisonment. When somebody tells you you have to stay inside of a room for a certain period of time, even though you're not sick, quarantine is for sick people. So if somebody's telling you that you have to stay in a room for a certain amount of time, this is false imprisonment. And it's illegal. You cannot force people to stay somewhere because we have freedom to travel where we want. If you're being forced to stay somewhere, then you're basically a slave, and slavery is outlawed across the world. Okay, so slavery means, the definition of slavery is a person can tell you where to go, when to go, and how to go there, and they can tell you what goes in your body and so on and so forth. So that's the definition of slavery. Okay, which is also legal. But anyway, um, they we had a problem. We had a difficulty at the testing site in Iloilo, and they stuck the thing up my wife's nose. I forgot what you call it, the swab, I guess, and they made her bleed. Okay, and then I was moving my head and moving it out of the way, and they eventually just said, "Oh, you're gonna have to go down to the hospital." And so we got in an argument with the head person over there, And I told them, I said, plain and simple, I said, you cannot force people. And, if a person tells you that they're sensitive, you shouldn't stick that, because they're very aggressive when they stick it up the nose. And I kept telling them that. They don't care. They didn't care about anything. I said, okay, well, that's fine. I'm just going to, pursue prosecution against you for assault, because when they stick that swab up your nose, it's an assault on the body. If they touch you, it's an assault on the body. So you have three things going: grave coercion, you have assault on the body because they stick a swab up your nose, and then they're forcing you to go into quarantine when you're not sick. So it's false imprisonment. Does he want to explain? Sorry if I'm going too far. Just let me know.
Were you able to encounter some discrimination when you arrived here in the Philippines, since you're not inoculated? Apart from being quarantined, was there any discrimination that came along?
When we first came into Cebu, I believe it's the days that you have to stay in quarantine if you're not vaccinated. I believe the unvaccinated people, they stay in quarantine less time than the non-vaccinated people. The non-vaccinated people stay in longer, 14 days. Non-vaccinated people stay in for like 8 days. So yeah, there is a discrimination there.
And I'm just wondering, how were you able to get the Republic Act 11525? Where have you learned about it? Can you please explain more?
I learned it.
What's the
Sure. My wife, she's in the group here, and she gave it to me first, and I read it, and it just explains everything, and I just read it all and made sure that I understood it. And that's how I started to make the connection between the American laws, the Philippine laws, and the international law, because there is an international law. It's called the ICCPR. You just look it up and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And then, we had to assert at the hotel, because I said, that's it, I'm done. I'm not having any more tests. So they sent the doctor, the main doctor or health official or whatever, to the hotel. And he was telling my wife that we had to stay in the hotel for 8 more days. And I told him, I said, no. I said, you're gonna release us today. I said, if you don't release us, I'm going to file I'm gonna file a complaint in the court against you, you and the governor or whoever, the mayor or whatever, and because this is false imprisonment, and it's something that I don't want to do anymore. I said, I've gone along with it enough, and that's it. You're going to release us today, or I'm just going to leave the hotel. I don't care. That's what I told him. I said, you have no right to keep me here, or my wife. I said, you guys have. So him had an argument about law, because he's a doctor and I'm a guy who studies law a lot, right? And I told him about the Philippine law, and then I told him about executive orders. An executive order is not passed law. If it goes against the laws of the land, it is null and void on its face, which means that anytime any of these mayors or any of these governors sign an executive order, it means nothing. It's just a piece of paper with his signature on it. And you have the right to ignore it because it hasn't been passed in the Congress of the Philippines. Anything that's not passed in the Congress of the Philippines by the consent of the senators and the whatever in there, then it's not a law. It's not a law. It's just an executive order. It's an order which can be ignored with impunity. So I told him that, and he's trying to argue with me about saying, oh yes, it is a law. I said, look, doctor, don't tell me about the law. You're a doctor, and I'm a person who studies the law. Okay. I'm telling you right now, anything that's not passed in the Congress of the Philippines is not a law. This mayor he can sign whatever he wants. It means nothing on his face. It means nothing to me. And I said, you're going to go to the mayor and you're going to tell him that you're going to release me today, or I'm going to file a complaint in the court, and I'm going to call the UN Attorney General. And I'm going to tell him that you are holding me here under false pretenses and under false arrest. False arrest is anytime that you are being held, doesn't matter how long it is, it can be for 5 minutes. It's a false arrest. You're being held there without your consent, without your approval, and you don't want to be there. It's coercion. So I told him that, and he said, "Well, you're going to have to sign a waiver and this and that and this, that." And I said, "No, I'm not doing any of that." I said, "You're going to go back and you're going to tell the mayor that I'm going to do that, or I'm going to sue the mayor, and I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue whoever's trying to keep me here." Okay. And then I'm just going to leave the hotel. I'm not going to stay here. So you can do whatever you want to do. Okay. But if you don't release me today, I'm going to leave anyway. That's what I told him. So that's how that was the first interaction that I've had with these officials. Okay. The guy in Cebu, the health official in Cebu that took the swab test for me, he was very nice. I told him, I don't want it to go far up my nose. He said, "Okay, no problem. I'll do it just right at the edge or whatever." And he did that. He didn't go like these other people here and say, "Okay, I won't go up the nose," and then they jam it up your nose. They like lie to you, and it irritated me that they made my wife bleed, which was an assault. So anyway, that was the first interaction. So you guys can explain the first interaction and we can go from there.
O yung sabi ni Kuya, that gusto pa sana silang patagalin sa quarantine. Bagari nga sila sa they came here in the Philippines last October. Dumating sila. At ang sinabi ni Phil na ang sinusunod kasi nila ay yung executive law. And ang executive law ayon kay Phil ay hindi dumaan sa Congress, kaya hindi siya may tuturing na batas. So yun ang ginamit niya sa pag-assert. At kung ayaw, ini-insist pa nila na magstay sila doon sa hotel na yun or sa quarantine, at hindi pa sila i-release doon sa araw na dapat silang lumabas, aalis pa rin sila. They will insist. Paninindigan nila na lalabas sila sa araw na yun. So, yes, Kuya Arnold?
Sige. Kasi meron tayong mga Bisayang nakikinig. Hi Phil, how are you? So I have to explain this in our dialect so that everybody can understand also.
No problem, Arnold.
Okay. Ang natabo diri sa kay Phil sang una sang nagliligad nga bulan, sang pag-abot nila diri sa may Cebu. So nag-abot sila dito kag nag-undergo sa mga protocols. So nagsunod man sila, pero sang pag-abot na diri nila sa may Iloilo, amo na siya kag nagka-problema sila diri sa mga quarantine protocol. Kay sanggin hotel quarantine sila for 3 days. Actually ginpaagi sila sa swab test o kung testing sa sulod sang mga 3 to 4 consecutive days straight nga swab test. So dito kag nagka-problema kay according kay Phil sa pag-istorya niya sa una, kay nakakilalahay naman kami sinisang una. So bali ang nagdugo ang ilong ni misis niya. So dito kag nagreklamo si Phil in the third time, si Phil wala na nag-take sang RT-PCR. Dito kag nag-argue siya, kontra niya dito ang mga health officers na kung sa diin actually I think Phil has forgotten that he was pushed outside by the personals in health office. So ito ang natabo diri sang maging pagwaan siya sa sang mga kay nag-insist siya nga hindi na pwede kay nangin delikado na sa ilong sang iya misis kag natabo sa ila nga kag didto kag nangindi si Phil sang ikatatlo nga bisis. Okay, dapat ani 4 pero nangindi siya. Actually they also comply sang mga sa mga protocol. So sa pag-abot niya sa dito ka nagreklamo sila according sa kay Phil, nagkadto man ini sila sa City Hall kag nagpanawag dito inquiring kag magreklamo kung tani, but actually unfortunately wala sang may nagpanaog kag hindi sila kapasulod dito sa City Hall. So nagpanawag lang sila, may nag-accommodate lang sa ilang tawag, but actually it ended up in vain, wala man sang natabo. So nagdiretso ini sila sa may Hall of Justice para nga mag file kung tani isang complaint. And that's the time nga nagka-tagpo sini nga amon sini nga kuano nga banas. So si Phil nag-insist siya actually sang iya nga right kay paagi sa RA 11525 halin pa dito sa may Cebu pakato diri sa Iloilo City. Kagin insist niya ang right kay ang aton nga mga layi do may similarity man i-compare dito sa Amerika kay ang mga layi naton daw halin man na kalabanan dito nga ginkuan gin ubraman nga gin pattern naton dito ang aton model dito sa Amerika. So sa according kay Phil wala sang kinalain ang mga layi kag ang mga layi dito layi diri kag ang mga layi dito sa Amerika. So madali niya naintindihan kasi Phil actually may mga background ini kinakaiswila ini siya sang law dito kag and at the same time international law. So si gin-insist niya ini kay gina-insist man diri sa aton kay usually amo ning katabo nga may protocol kita is because of the city ordinance or executive order nga ginpapanaog sa isa ka local government official para sa abisang mayor. So amo ni ang gina-insist sa mga health officer sa iya nga dapat mag-undergo gid sila sang ika-apat nga swab test. So bali gin-deny nila. Actually si Mrs. niya nag-comply, siya wala. Amo dito kag nagtatabo ining mga komplikasyon parte sa protocol. So I think Phil will have to continue giving us your story.
Okay. The other
Instead of 4 days, they need to be extended like 10 days.
8 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that was the end of that. Well, what happened was I wrote a letter. Well, it was actually kind of like an affidavit. I didn't form it like an affidavit, but an affidavit is important if you're going to pursue anything in the court system. So I wrote something like an affidavit and I explained the whole situation, how we were treated at the testing site, and treated like we were scum just because we wouldn't take the test, and we refused, and we were just going against them. So they don't really like it when you push back against them. They think they have all the power and stuff like that. So you have to not be scared in these situations. You have to know that you are right and that you deserve to be treated with respect, number one. Number two, and you deserve to stand on your rights. Our founding fathers in America, they said, if you do not stand on your rights, then you deserve to lose them. So don't ever be afraid to assert your rights. In your rights, you have freedom. You have freedom to go where you want, when you want, and how you want. Nobody has the right to tell you that you can go to a certain place or you can't go to a certain place. You also have the right of body autonomy. You can decide what goes in your body and what doesn't. So always know that you have those rights, and don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Doesn't matter what kind of emergency it is. It doesn't matter what they tell you. You still have those rights. In this world right now, you still have those rights. So anyway, I wrote it down, and you have the right to actually retaliate in the courts. You can take it to the court, and if you take it to court, you can do a lot with it, because what they're doing is illegal, plain and simple. They just don't want you to know that. They want you to think that you're powerless. So I wrote this letter, and it was very scathing or very hard to the mayor and the person that treated my wife badly and injured her in her nose. And I gave that to the medical professional that came to the hotel. I said, give this to the mayor, and I made a copy for myself and another copy, okay, for later, just in case. And I gave the one copy to the medical professional. I told him, give him this and also give him RA 11525, because I guess the mayor has to be educated on the law, because obviously he doesn't know the law. He thinks he's the king of Iloilo who can write whatever he wants and make people do whatever he wants, which is not true. He's an elected official, and he has no right to do any of that, to hold people and do all this stuff. So I sent the letter with the doctor, and that very same day, after I told him, I said, you're going to release us today. We're not staying anymore in anything, in any quarantine or anything. I said, we're not doing it. He was trying to say, oh, you have to, and this and that. I said, no, I don't have to do anything. I said, you're going to let us go today, or I'm just going to leave. You're not, this is not a prison, and I'm not a prisoner. So I'm free to go when I want to go. I'm just doing it out of courtesy to you all. Okay. And I don't want to, because the hotel staff are very nice. And I know that they might get in trouble if I was to leave. So the only reason why I was staying there for the amount of time, like 3-4 days, was because out of respect for the hotel staff, because the hotel staff were scared that I was going to leave. They kept asking me, oh, Sir Phil, are you going to leave? Are you going to leave? They were very afraid that I was going to leave. So I had an idea in my mind, just by reading their body language, that they might get in trouble if I was to leave, So I told the medical staff or whatever for the mayor, I told him plain and simple, go back and tell the mayor that I'm leaving today, regardless of what he says. And I said, you're going to release me today. And what do you know? He goes back to the mayor, speaks to the mayor. I guess he gives him the letter. I don't know if he did or not, but they didn't sign anything, of course. And they released us. That's just in a few hours after that. So they sent in the release papers to the hotel, and the hotel staff told me that we're free to go that day. So that was that. And that's what I did. And, you can't be afraid. You can't be afraid of them. Don't let them intimidate you. You have to be strong. In the face of fear, you have to fight your fear, and you know that you have the right. You have freedoms that you don't even know that you can assert and stand on. And you just have to know that. And that's what I know. I just know it. So I don't have to explain any laws to anybody. I just tell them straight, plain and simple, I'm not doing what you're telling me to do, because I'm a free human being. Until you bring me a warrant of arrest telling me that I'm going to be arrested and being put in prison, until then, I'm a free person. So you can say whatever you want, and you can tell me whatever you want, but I'm not going to listen. So that's the first interaction. And then I'll tell you the second interaction once they explain.
Ayun. So, according to Phil, ayan, nagsulat sila ng letter sa mayor. At doon sa health worker na nag-injure doon sa sa asawa niya, kasi nagkaroon siya ng injury dahil nga sa swab test. At binigyan niya ng RA 11525 ang mayor, kasi parang ang kinikilos daw ng mayor ay parang hari, at wala siyang karapatang gawin yon sa kanyang mga tao. And then, nung 3 to 4 days, nagstay sila doon sa quarantine out of respect sa hostel staff, kasi iniisip nila na baka managot yung mga hotel staff, natatakot daw, nakikita sa kanilang body language na nababother sila na baka umalis sila mag-asawa at once, may mananagot kay mayor. So yun, sinulatan ni Phil, si mayor, at di rin alam kung ni-receive daw yung letter o hindi. Pero after ng ilang oras, ni-release na sila. So yun yung yung unang experience. So wag daw matakot, deserve natin na tratuhin with respect palagi, at tayo dapat mag-stand sa ating mga karapatan. Dapat alam natin ang ating mga karapatan, dahil meron tayong right to movement. We have the right na mag-travel sa isang lugar or pumunta sa isang lugar, at may karapatan din tayo para sa bodily autonomy, yung mag-decide tayo para sa ating mga katawan. So, walang karapatan ng iba na diktahan tayo kung ano yung gagawin natin sa ating katawan. So, hindi yun nag-matter kung may emergency man o hindi, yun pa rin. Ang karapatan pa rin natin ang mananaig at may karapatan rin tayong dalhin ito sa korte kung talagang sukdulan na yung ginagawa sa atin. Ayan ang Tagalog translation.
Okay, Bisaya natin. So, ayon sa salaysay ni Phil, Bisaya ko pala. Bisaya ko pala, no, sorry. So, according sa experience na naging share sa ato ni Phil sa subong nga gabi, ang iya sining experience sang sila ang gin hotel quarantine, naging pa-swab test ang straight 4 days. Pagkatapos dito kag nagreklamo siya, kag dito man kag gin natabo ang indi bala anong mga persahanay nga natabo dito sa mismong sa swab test center diri sa Iloilo. Kag kung sabihin gin pagwa si Phil sa among testing center, gin persa siya kay amo na mersa na siya nga magkuan nga punggan niya bala ang pag swab test sa ilang nga daw ginalukit na ang ila sini nga ilong. So dito kag nagbinaistay sila, kag insist niya ang iya nga right, amo na gani ang ginahambal niya nga autonomy sa aton nga body, nga pag gusto kita kung anong gusto naton matabo sa aton nga lawas, kag amo man na ang aton man sa aton nga konstitusyon nga diriya sa aton nagahatag sang sanctity kag respeto sa aton nga human right kag sa aton nga lawas. So bali sang natabo ato, actually si Phil atong gina-mention niya nga letter nga ginhimo niya actually is a refusal letter nga dugangan niya sang explanation about sang mga pwede niya nga ma-file kung hindi sila pag i-release dito sa hotel quarantine gilayon. Kay sang naghatag siya sa refusal, actually may nagkakadto dira sa hotel nagka-quarantine doctor. Amo na siya ang nag-determine dito nga kuno abi nag-check, but actually nagapulo pa masar man nagpamangkot dito kay actually si ining mag-asawa nga si Phil kag si Rachel nagagin gusto patani nga i-extend for another 8 days of hotel quarantine. So I think Phil can also explain of how much they paid in the quarantine hotel and how much was the regular rate and how much they added more to the rate of the hotel quarantine.
I think the hotel in Cebu was, I think it was like $300 more than the normal price, $300 or $400 more, because they had they said they quote unquote they gave you like 3 meals in the water, and which didn't equal $400 for that whole month. So there was that extra, and then the other hotel in Iloilo that we stayed, I believe maybe it was $30 or $40 more than the normal price, maybe 50. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it was increased price because they know that you have to stay there, and that is also, in my opinion, that is also it's a crime. You shouldn't be able to raise the prices just because people are desperate to stay in a place. It just seems wrong to me. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, they do double the prices or they did double the price on the hotel. So
aside from the like the payment that you had for the whole month, which is amounting to approximately like $400, were you able to pay extra also for the RT-PCR testing?
No,
or was it for free?
In Cebu, it's free, and here it was free as well. But there's another thing. That's why I don't really like, because I heard that they take the DNA from that test and they put it into a database, which is also illegal. So, yeah, it was free on both sides, but it was $400 for the hotel. It was $400 more. So I would have paid in Cebu, I would have paid normally around $450. Then because of all the quarantine stuff and bringing the food in, it went up to around $850 for only, how many days was it? 8 days or 10 days? Eight days. 8 days, $800 or $900.
Wow.
So,
Right?
mga ka-JD, grabe
Mm-mm.
yung gastos, no? Idadagdag ko lang kasi maganda yung ginawa ni Phil din dahil nung, di ba, nung nag-assert siya, sinabi niya talaga na wala kayong magagawa sa akin, hindi niyo ako mapapastay dito. Kung gusto niyo, mag-issue kayo ng warrant of arrest or court order. So, that is the very good point there na dito natin malalaman kapag may kaalaman ka sa batas. So yun ang doon natakot, 'di ba? Doon natakot yung mga yung doctors tsaka yung mayor possibly, so na-release sila.
Kasi yung yung nung gumawa siya ng review sa letter, kasama na yun na kapag hindi siya pinalabas doon, bali maghahabla siya at saka maghahabla lang siya, maghahabla din siya doon sa UN mismo, sa Security Council. Kaya medyo natakot siguro yung quarantine doctor na binigyan niya ng letter. So ayun nga sa kanya, within a few hours, ay biglang-bigla ay nirelease sila. So parang pag tumayo ka pala sa sarili mo, karapatan, at talagang in-insist mo, yun nga ang assertion na dapat i-insist mo yung right mo dahil hindi nila ibibigay. So kailangan nating i-assert. Yun nga at naibigay kila Phil dito sa quarantine facility nila.
And it has to be in an accredited hotel that they choose. You can't just choose any hotel. It has to be accredited.
Government.
So, and I think the government, on the government site, it tells you all the list of hotels that can host you as, coming into the country, which is, I guess they have a deal with the hotels to take some part of that, a percentage of that for the government. So
it was called SOP. Actually, it's OP. Is OP.
SOP, yeah.
SOP. Actually, there is Amon. I would like to translate this in Bisaya. Na ang ginahimo diri, the same man sa ginahimo dito sa Manila nga may gina-require sila nga mga accredited hotels for quarantine dito sa mga returning OFWs, mga returning Filipinos from abroad. Ginasagaan nila kung ano lang nga mga hotels ang required nga katuan sa mga dapat nila i-quarantine. So ini nga mga problema siguro daw masiling naton nga daw medyo may mga kamalamalahan kaga medyo duda kita nga amo lang ini nga hotel. For there are so many available hotels around sa city, but this hotel was the only accredited. So I think amo na siya ang gusto na ipaabot sa ato ni Phil nga medyo may mga inside transactions sa mga hotels in between sa mga aton government.
Okay, so I'm going to move on to the second and last, experience. Was a recent one where we went to Manila to go to one of the embassies there to, I needed to find out about visa information. So We went from Iloilo to Manila, and we stayed in Manila for 3 days, 3 or 4 days, and we wanted to come back to Iloilo. Okay, so we went for when we went to Manila. The airlines didn't even ask us for anything. They didn't ask us for any tests. They didn't ask us any for any bits and cards or whatever. Okay, whatever you want to call it. And they didn't say anything. They just let us on the airplane, and it was all good. Okay. On the way back from Manila, we thought that they didn't need all this stuff that what is it called, the Iloilo thing where you have to go and get the little QR code. What's the name of that? No. The S Pass. Yeah, we thought the S Pass was done and it was over, so we just went to the airport and we wanted to go on the plane. So we went in line, and the girls asking if we have a Betson card or whatever, and we said no, and I said I'm never gonna get a Betson or whatever, I'm never gonna get that, and okay, well, do you have a test and this and that, and I said no, we don't have that because we have a sensitivity to that, and you shouldn't be asking us anyway what our medical information is. It's privacy. So they said, okay, well, you need to get the S Pass. So even though we told them we don't have a Betson, right, or a Betson card or whatever it is, and we didn't have a test, they still wanted the S Pass. Okay, so they knew when they looked at us, and I told them you shouldn't be asking people that about their personal medical information. I said it's illegal, and they just thought, like, okay, if you have an S Pass, then we can let you go. So I'm guessing they were thinking that with an S Pass, the S Pass is going to ask for that information anyway. So I said, so Rochelle, my wife, she has somebody in the barangay to that we can call to get the barangay paper or whatever, the certificate. So what we did was, actually first, we were trying to figure out how to do it. So I called at the desk there inside the airport, where you stand in line to go to the desk to get your boarding pass. We asked for the supervisor of that area. So I said, I want to speak to the supervisor. So I spoke to the supervisor, and the lady, she was very nice. I guess the airlines are like training them to not be rude and be very respectful to everybody because it's such a stressful situation at times. So the lady was very nice, and I was very calm. I wasn't irate or anything like that. So I simply told, I said that your business, your airlines is regulated by the Philippine government, which means you are basically a public entity, and you have to follow RA 11525. You have to follow it, and here it is. So I gave her the paper that they share with everybody. You guys share with everybody the what is it called? The open letter to transport personnel and checkpoint personnel. That open letter, I gave it to her, and she read it. I said, you need to sign it. She didn't want to sign it, of course. They never want to sign anything. So I took a video of the interaction, and I told her, I said, it's regulated by, you have to get a license to operate inside the Philippines. And she said, yes, I know. And I said, first of all, we're not going to get the test because the test, it goes far up the nose, and it's an invasion of our body. We said we had a problem like this before, and we're not going to do it again. So she said, so I told her, I said, it's illegal for you guys to even ask for private medical information. You cannot ask that. It's illegal. We have the right to privacy of our medical information. unless I'm coughing and sneezing and all this other stuff, there's no way that, you can tell that I'm sick or whatever. So we went round and round. She goes, oh, well, it's policy this. And I said, it doesn't matter what the policy is. You guys are breaking the law. You're causing people you're not letting people travel freely. I said, that's illegal right there. Blocking people from traveling is illegal. And asking for personal private medical information is illegal. Plus you have a grant from the government, or you're regulated by the government, and you get a license from the government, which means you have to follow the laws of the Philippines. And the laws are RA 11525. So she read the paper and she was shaking her head in agreement. And she said, okay, well, you can go down and talk to the legal department. So we went down to the legal department, and what do you know? There's no lawyers in the legal department. They're all at home because of this, whatever you call it, okay, this emergency or whatever, right? And they don't want to talk to anybody. So we had a talk with the guard, and the guard was saying, yeah, you have to go online and submit the paper. So I said, how if there's an emergency for anything and these lawyers are not here? See, they don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want to take personal responsibility for what they're doing. So there's no lawyers there for you to talk to. So we left there, and we got the barangay to put on the certificate that we were going to do home quarantine and we were not vaccinated. So those are the two things that you can put on the barangay certificate, which will allow you to get the S-Pass. Okay. So when you send that barangay certificate in for the S-Pass, you have to tell your barangay to put that you're non-Betson, okay, and you're going to have home quarantine. So we did that, and the S-Pass was approved. So we got the S-Pass approved, and we went back to the desk and we showed them the S-Pass, and they did our boarding pass, and he had to get it okayed by the lady that we spoke to before, the manager of that desk for the day, and she approved it, and we went on. So again, we weren't afraid. I just kept standing on my rights, telling them that they have no right to ask me that stuff, and they have no right to ask me for these cards to travel. I said, we're free to go where we want to go. You cannot stop us, even though they want to. So we have to jump through hoops, but never give in. We never give in. We always think when you're going to travel or something, it's always going to be a battle. So just prepare for battle, just like you would any other time. Just always know that you're going to have resistance in these times, and just know that in your mind so that you're prepared. And of course, you're going to have some fear in your stomach. Everybody gets it. But, if you continue to talk, you can see that other people, even the people that work at the airlines, they know it's wrong, and they understand also, and they're not there to prevent you. It's just that it's their job to do whatever. But, they're respectful, and you remain respectful. Always if you're going to stand on your rights, you don't get belligerent, you don't get loud. You don't have to. You have the law on your side. So you can assert yourself without getting, disrespectful and stuff like that. You always have to stay in honor when you do things. And if you stay in honor, people will respect you more, and they will try to help you. Okay. But if you get mad and start yelling in front of everybody, they're not going to want to help you. People don't want to help you. So if you have the law on your side, always stay calm, and always know that you have your rights. You have the freedom. So that's it for that. And you just got to stand on your rights. Thank you for listening to me go on and on about this. And my wife says thank you, and we thank God for everything. Thank you.
Yung maganda yung yung kanyang pag-assert doon sa sa may eroplano, kasi ibinigay niya talaga yung yung RA 11525, and then he explains na ang eroplano ay regulated by the government, and they should follow the government's rule. So kaya nga ibinigay niya yung RA 11525 doon sa personnel sa airport. So kaya nagkakaroon kahit na medyo merong kwan. Ikaw na lang mag-explain siguro ng Tagalog para ibigay ko yung kwan.
At saka, before I explain, Teacher Janine, meron lang akong na ano din. Kasi although hindi siya masyadong familiar sa law ng Pilipinas, no? Meron tayong Data Privacy Act, that's Republic Act number 10173. So, walang sino man ang pwedeng kumuha ng inyong kumbaga medical information because that is a sensitive information. So, dapat igiit din natin yan every time.
Yes.
Ay, oo pala, no? Giniit niya yung Data Privacy Act na dapat hindi mag-declare ng personal medical information.
Yes po.
So, i-explain ko ito dito kahit sandali doon sa Bisaya.
Yes, go ahead.
Sige. Para sa aton nga mga pagpalmatik nga mga Bisaya kag mga Ilonggo, ang natabo sini kay ining experience ni Phil sa pag-travel nga pagsakay sa eroplano, mahimo naton ini nga guide kung ano ang dapat natin himuon if we are not vaccinated. Pero ang ginhimo niya lang sini kay diriya sa aton sa Iloilo City, wala man niya nagkuan. Diri sa aton airport, wala man niya sa mga pangita nga mga kung ano man nga mga requirement, nagdiretso man lang sila sakay. Ang nagka-problema lang dito sa Maynila sa pababalik na diri sa Iloilo. So ginpangayuan na sila sa mga requirements, naturally magic syrup card kag kung ano pa nga mga requirement nga ginapangayo sa airport bago sila makasakay. So ang ginhimo si Phil amo ang present kag pagtindog sa gyapon sa iyang right for travel nga ara niya sa aton nga kung hindi pwede ma-block ang isa ka tawo sa iya nga pakaladtuan, no? Kag si Phil explain nga ang aton nga mga eroplano nga di pasahero gina-regulate sang aton nga gobyerno kay ang ilang nga franchise ini halin man sa gobyerno kag ang ilang nga sini nga pagbiyahe gina-regulate sang gobyerno. So bali under ini sila sa pagpatigayon sang gobyerno. So dapat nga magsunod man ini sila sa mga reglamento kag mga lahi nga balay kag ginahatag man sa atong gobyerno. So ang ginapresentar sa ila ni Phil nga Republic Act 11525, so isa ini kalayi nga ginbalay manhalin sa aton nga kongreso nga dapat sundon man sang aton nga mga personnel dira sa airport kag sa eroplano man mismo. So amo ni kag nakasulod siya, pero ang catch lang sini kay balaan mo may mga ginapangayo ang mga taga-airport, no, sang mga requirement pareho sang espas kag diri naton makuha, no, nga mga idea nga si Phil nagkuha na siya sang barangay clearance didto sa ila nga barangay nga ginatiniran, and at the same time amo sa to ang ginhimo nila nga reglamento para nga matagaan sila sang espas. Though online ini siya nga application, kag didto kag nakakuha sila sang espas, and that's what all the requirements nga ginhatag nila dito sa eroplano para makasunod sila sa boarding area kag nakalusot gid man diri sa aton sa pabalik sa aton nga syudad. So I think magkakaroon ka pa ng konting rap.
Yes. Ayan, so in Tagalog, so nag-travel sila from Iloilo papuntang Manila. So nag-spend sila 3 to 4 days sa Manila. Then pabalik sana sila sa Iloilo, kaso ni-require nga ng espas, tapos vetching card, and doon nag-no sila na wala silang vetching card at wala rin silang swab test. At yun ang in-insist nila doon sa staff na nakausap nila na di nyo dapat yung tinatanong ng medical info kasi ito ay confidential at ito ay illegal. At hiningin din sila ng yung kung ano ng requirements, tapos hinapan din ng barangay certificate I think this is the letter of acceptance kasi ano rin, nag-travel din ako ng ano. So, kinausap nila yung supervisor doon at very nice naman silang kausap. Hindi naman nagkaroon ng mga confrontations. So, palmado sila at sinabi ni Phil na kailangan nyo sundin yung RA 11525. So, present din nila yung open letter to checkpoint personnel. So, yung staff doon sa boarding ay ayaw nga i-sign. Tapos, nag-video rin sila doon as their evidence. At in-insist nila na kayo, nilalabag nyo yung mga, ang batas natin. Tapos, nung naghanap sila sa legal department ay walang lawyers. So, in times of emergency daw, tulad noon, nung situation na yon, paano sila kakausap sa lawyer? Wala naman daw doon sa office. Then, eventually, ayun, binigyan sila ng boarding pass, na-approve yung kanilang S-pass, at given na mag-home quarantine sila pag uwi. Pero, inallow silang makauwi. So, i-emphasize din natin tong last na sinabi ni Phil, na we never give in. So, huwag tayong bibigay. Pag nag-assert tayo, when we travel, handa natin na to prepare for battle. Kasi, alam naman natin na may mga gagawin, hihingi na requirements or i-hold muna tayo bago tayo makatuloy. And, remain respectful. So, pagkakausapin nyo yung tao, you should remain respectful at or in Tagalog, mag-aalang dahil nasa side naman natin ang batas. So, harapin natin ng may dignidad ang taong kinakausap natin at kumalma lang tayo.
Teacher Japa, pasingit lang, acknowledge ko lang si Kuya Rap. Kuya Rap!
Yan, Kuya Regs. Kuya Rap.
Kuya Regs.
Oh, hi. I have a question. Thank you, Naijat. I have a question for Phil. I just want to know if the barangay certificate came from Manila side or Iloilo side. This is JD Regs, actually.
Hello, sir. Yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. It came from Iloilo side.
Oh, okay, from Iloilo side. So I never thought you were already locked and loaded when you called me up before for that airport thing. So I realized you were already loaded, and then I just added some bullets.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So I just needed that little bit of information to make it.
Yeah.
To make it better.
Yeah. So you already prep and ready for that.
Yes, sir.
Battle.
Yep, I appreciate it.
So just question additional again. So Phil, just for clarification for all of all of the people who are listening tonight. So the S-Pass, is that just unique to Iloilo?
I believe so. Yeah, that's right.
So basically all of the requirements, it's a province specific. So if you are traveling, so it looks like from Manila, if you are going to Manila, there are no additional requirements. I mean, you can pretty much go and you can pretty much travel without any kind of the tuklaw card or the whatever testing. It is going back to your residence, to the provinces, that it depends on the local government unit what kind of requirements they're going to impose on the people. Correct?
That's right. And Manila is free. Like, we didn't have anything, and ask us for anything.
Okay, so mga ka-JD, no, yun po ang importante na nating tatandaan, tingnan nyo muna kung anong requirements sa mga barangay ninyo. Kasi yung pagpasok nyo sa Manila, wala pong naging problema yung ating bisita ngayong gabi. Pero ang naging problema is yung pabalik nila kung saan sila nakatira. So kung may mga requirement po kayo sa inyong mga barangay o sa inyong mga LGU, siguraduhin nyo po na merong kayong nahanda kayo na i-present iyon. So base po sa sinabi ni Mr. Phil kanina, ang sinabi talaga niya, talagang handa siya. At kailangan maging handa kayo. Sabi nga niya, mahirap talaga. Mahirap na, lalo na sa panahon ngayon, mahirap talagang kakaharapin ninyo sa paggigiit sa inyong mga karapatan, pero kailangan kayong handa at kailangan huwag kayong matinag. Sabi niya, stand your ground dahil at kalma lang kayo dahil tayo ang nasa tama, dahil nasa atin ang batas. Yun po ang sinabi ni Mr. Phil kanina. So, expect na po natin na papahirapan tayo. 'Di ba mga ka-JD? Expect na natin na tayo ay papahirapan kasi yan talaga ang gusto nila. Na tayo ay kumbaga saklawin at tayo ay pahirapan at tayo ay gawing parang mangmang sa ating paggigiit ng ating mga karapatang pangtao. Pero ang importante, tayo ay maging handa na gamit ang RA 11525 na siyang ginamit lang ni Mr. Phil. Ang ginamit po niya ay ang mga forms na nasa 1 dakila page. Ang ginamit niya yung refusal letter, ginamit niya yung open letter para sa mga checkpoints. At kasama ng mga sulat na yon ay ang RA 11525. Wala po siyang ibang ginamit na form. Ang isa nang niyang sinabi na affidavit ay yung nagsabi siya sa mga tao doon na kung siya ay pipilitin, siya ay magsasampa ng kasong grave coercion. Yun ang complaint affidavit na siya ang ating sinusulong dito sa 1 dakila page na pag kayo ay pinilit, may mga pamimilit na pangyayari, ang kailangan yung gawin ay mag-file ng grave coercion form or grave coercion case sa piskal o sa prosecutor's office. Ito po ay applicable sa lahat, sa employment, sa estudyante, sa LGU, yung kapareha ng ginawa ni Mr. Phil na panggigipit sa kanya sa airline, pwede niyo pong gamitin ang grave coercion form.
Ang natabo sinisang una sa kay Phil nga halin sa pag-iya nga kuan kun i-summarize naton atong una niya nga ginsalaysay. Actually ang iya nga experience sa protocols nga pag-abot niya halin sa US pakadto diri sa Cebu nga kung sa din medyo okay man ang iya sini nga kuan nga na experience dito kay daw maayo man ang pagtratar sa ila dito sang nang hindi siya gusto nga i-swab test okay man ang mga health officers dito. Ang nagka-problema lang diri sang magsaylo siya sa kuan sa Iloilo, diri na kag naka-experience siya sa mga natawag nga pressure o kung pang-ipit. Sa Tagalog, panggigipit. Kung sa din, ginhatagan sila sa 4 days nga hotel quarantine and ang ilang hotel was actually designated sa government nga kung sa din, digto lang sila pwede makakuan, wala ka na sang pilian nga hotel, wala ka na sang dapat nga katuan nga iban nga mga hotels kay amo lang gid ini ang ginhatag sang government. So bali may mga ginatawag kita nga captured market bala nga wala ka sang pilian kundi amo lang na ang imo katuan o kun amo nang imo baklon. So ang natabo amo sini nagako inside ini sa mga nagabalita sa radyo kay ang hotel nga ni kundi accredited ini nga ginhatag sang gobyerno nga pagahimuon nga mga quarantine facility. So according sa kay Phil nga ginsalaysay niya kagina nga ang presyo sang hotel rate nga ginkatuan nila mas mataas ikumpara sa regular rates nga ginahatag sang hotel. So nakaistorya man kami sinisang una kay Phil nga gipamangkot ko siya kung pila ang iya ginhatag in terms of pesos. Ang hotel quarantine in regular rate is only 2,000 pesos per day. Kag madalang na dra iya nga meals kag everything nga ma-provide sang hotel. Pero during the period of quarantine kay kung gin-convert ini nga mga hotels into quarantine facilities, ang natabo nahimo ini according sa kay Phil sa madumduman ko pa nga nahimo nga 3,008 ang rate sang kada room, no? So nagtaas ini sang almost 50% I think. 2,000 man lang mo. So nahimo siya nga 3,008. So nangin bloated ang presyo kay from 2,000 nangin 3,008. So ang ilasin nga pagkaon was provided by a certain catering services nga amo man lang ang accredited man nga maka-offer ng pagkaon dira sa ilang hotel quarantine. So sang ara na sila sa hotel quarantine, gin swab test ini sila mga 4 days straight. Kag dito kag nagreklamo si Phil nga hindi na siya gusto kay tungod nga ang iya asawa may nagdiferensya ako nagdugo na ang iya ilong sini. Kag dito ang altercation natabo dito mismo sa may health center dira sa aton nga swab test center dira sa may Iloilo City. So ang iya sini nga ang iya sini nga experience nga sang gin-insist niya ang iya nga right nga hindi na siya gusto mag-take pa sang another swab test because it endangers his life. Kag maguba ang iya sini nga health kung i-insist niya pa kay basic ma-irritar ang iya nga lawas. So dito kag natabo ang pagbinaisay kag according sa kay Phil may isa dito ka health officer nga naga-insist no kay ginalukit gid tudo-tudo ang pag swab test dito sa ila. So dito kag binaisay sila hasta nga ginpagwa si Phil sang mga ginpa escortan siya pagwa sa health center o kung sa testing center. So that is why dito ko nag-start kag gin-insist na ni Phil kag nagsulat siya sa aton government parte sa iya sini nga daw affidavit nga mareklamo siya kay kung hindi siya pagbuyan dapat siya nga mag-akusar. Kag dito gintindugan niya ang iya nga right for travel and kaganaghambal gani siya nga kung gusto ninyo nga i-arestuhon siya, ipa-aresto nyo kag tagaan siya sang kwan kag dito ka makita naton kung sino ang tama kung hindi according sa iya. So subong kay nalagpasan niya man ini kay paagi sa iya nga kuan nga pag-ubra sang refusal letter nga pagbisita sang kuan during sa pagbisita sang quarantine doctor gin-present niya ini there is a debate or argument that ensued sa during sa ila sini nga pagkitanay kay gina-insist sang sining quarantine doctor nga may mga executive order sila nga dapat i-follow alin sa gobyerno. So si Phil nag-insist nga ang executive order hindi siya law and it cannot be followed kung gusto mo nga hindi i-follow kay may layi that exists sa aton within our constitution in our republic acts. So amo to kagin insist niya naman ang aton nga laws nga naga-emanate and laws shall be emanated from the Congress or from the Senate. Kag dito kag medyo nagbinaisay sila kag hasta nga ang ginhimo ni Phil before that nga refusal letter amo to ang ginpresentar niya dito sa quarantine doctor nga pagbalik sang quarantine doctor wala pa gani mag-isa ka oras so gintawag nila ang hotel staffs management nga pwede na si Phil release. So that's the summary nga nakuha nato dito sa kuano ka pag hotel quarantine kay Phil and at the same time among pag-travel na dito sa Manila wala nagapangayo sang espas diri la pangayo ang espas ining espas kani ini siya ka isa ka certification nga wala ikaw sang balatian o you are not infected with the BIDCO nga ipagahatag sang barangay kag i-certify sang aton nga local government unit. Kag sila na ang magpaidalom sa imo kung anong dapat sa imo ipadalom nga mga quarantine protocols. So amo na siya ang natabo. So in short, naging madinalagon si Phil kag naging successful siya sa pag-assert bilang isa pa ka foreigner sa aton diri nga pungsod bilang isa ka Amerikano nga nag-assert gamit ang aton nga layi nga RA 11525 kag aton Data Privacy Act kag ang aton nga mga layi kag aton mga open letters halin sa Juan Latila page nga ginapang panagtagman naton sa aton nga mga kauturan nga para magamit nga armas para sa aton nga pag usar bilang armas sa pagdepender sa aton nga kinamatarong or ang aton nga rights. Okay?
I have another question for Phil, if you don't mind. About the barangay clearance, will the airport accept a soft copy?
I just We just showed them the phone with the QR code. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's actually the S-Pass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we for the S Pass,
Yeah.
it's just a picture of the document. That's it.
Oh, of the barangay clearance, right?
Yep.
So the S-Pass is actually the barangay clearance soft copy. All right.
Well, yeah,
So
the S Pass asks for that, and
yeah,
then we just show them a picture
yeah.
of the document. That's it. Yeah.
Like it's on your phone, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and you send it to the S Pass people, but it's not really like a scanned copy. It's like you put it on your desk and you just take a picture of it. That kind of.
Oh yeah. So they accept that.
Yeah, they accept it.
Because put that na-
All right. So what Phil did is they asked someone from the province, the Iloilo province, to get the barangay clearance, and then picture it on your phone, and then send it back to you guys on the airport, and then show it to the airport personnel. So you don't have to print it.
You don't have to print it. Yep, and then you can send it to the S Pass people. The
Yeah.
S Pass people will approve it, and then you just show the QR code to the airline.
So they actually like read your phone, right?
vaccinated.
Yeah, they
they
they scan the QR code on our phone. Yeah.
All right. So that's it.
One more thing, you just got to get your barangay when they do that paper. You need to tell them that you're non-Betson and home quarantine. If you put that in there, the S Pass guys will approve it. I think they approved it for us.
Napakahalaga talaga na hindi lang natin alam yung RA 11525, specifically the Section 12, kailangan natin itong gamitin. So, dahil yung iba kasi, binigyan mo, pasintabi lang binigyan mo na ng RA 11525, hindi pa talaga nila alam kung paano gawin. So, sa mga sinabi po ni Phil, sa kanyang mga experiences, nakita natin kung gaano siya, very consistent at very persistent sa kanyang karapatan. So,
Right, from Mr. Phil. So, any final message for our Filipinos watching this live session this evening?
Yeah, just don't be scared. Don't be scared to stand on your rights and assert your rights. You are more free than you think you are. They just want you to believe that you're not. So just always know that you're a free human being on this earth. Nobody has the right to hold you for anything. So just stand on your rights. That's it. Don't be afraid.
We should fight for our rights. Ayan, paglaban natin ating mga karapatan at prepare natin yung battle na haharapin natin kung mapasa travel pa yan or sa employment natin or sa iba pang mga situation. So, di lang sapat nyo na yung RA 11525 ay nasa papel lang. So, dapat alam natin ito at alam din natin kung paano natin pagtatanggol ang ating sarili gamit nito. So, ang batas ay nasa panig natin. Sabi nga kanina ni Mr. Phil at kumalma lang tayo.